Assalamualaikum everyone. A very happy Women's Day. Today we are celebrating International Women's Day 2021 and ACCA is celebrating its trailblazing women in finance. We have very prestigious guests today and I will like you all to stick around this 1 hour to listen to their stories, the way they can inspire you and the kind of work they have been doing. ACCA was founded in 1904 with the core motive of allowing this profession to everyone on an equal opportunity, and we are really proud that ACCA included its first women member in 1909. It was one of the first accountancy bodies to do it. So ACCA has always been a great support for every female out there who is joining a finance profession. We will start the ceremony by inviting Ayla Majid. Ayla is a Managing Director, Financial Advisory at Khalid Majid Rahman. She has 20 years of experience in transaction advisory, mergers and acquisitions, and corporate governance. She is an international speaker and is a strong advocate of sustainability. She is an independent director on boards in energy, pharmaceutical, and not-for-profit sectors. She is a global young leader and member of Global Future Council of Energy of the World Economic Forum. In addition to ACCA qualification, Ayla holds MBA degree from London and LLB honors from University of London. She is our honorable ACCA's Global Council member as well. I welcome you, Ayla, and we would like to hold your opening remark for all the females on this International Women's Day. Ayla, your voice is breaking up a bit. We're unable to hear you. It's still a bit distorted. If you can just reconnect for once, that will be great. Okay, until Ayla is reconnecting and we are able to hear her properly, because we would want to hear her properly, and because there are a lot of things that she says which are really important for all of us to hear. Let's move ahead, and we would like to invite our chief guest for the event, Dr. Shiri Mazzari, Minister for Human Rights. She holds a BSc from London School of Economics and Master's, MPhil and PhD from Columbia University, New York. She was Director General Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad. Her previous professional assignments include consultant on defense and security. She has been an associate professor, Department of Defense and Strategic Studies, Quaid-e-Azam University. She has been an editor of The Nation, which is a leading English daily. She has written extensively on issues of defense and security. She resigned from her DG CEO position before becoming a federal minister to avoid any conflict of interest. She has been a role model for many females out there. We really thank you for joining in, Dr. Shiri Mazzari, and we would love to hear from you.
Start?
Yes, you're now live.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. It's a pleasure to be celebrating International Women's Day with the ACCA. And I want to thank you, Sidra, for the kind introduction that you gave. And I want to extend my greetings and wish everyone a very happy and prosperous International Women's Day. We mark this day every year, and we try and recall achievements that women have made in their various fields, because in Pakistan, women are progressing and progressing at a fast pace in fields where previously they may not have had much of a presence. And whether it's the armed forces, whether it's business, finance, human rights, everywhere women are now coming to the forefront, which I think is a major achievement of our women, because many women have fought against all odds to get to where they've gotten to, in positions of power, in positions of decision making. But that does not mean that we are where we want to be, because the road ahead is still full of pitfalls. It's a rocky road for women to traverse, and the challenges remain many. But the more the women come into different fields, they will be easing the way for other generations of women to follow suit. I want to especially, of course, congratulate Zara Naim, who topped the ACCA exam. And I want to congratulate all the women in finance who are playing a key role in the development of our country. These women and their vision for building a gender-neutral world where everyone has equal opportunity, regardless of their background, their genders. This is a major contribution that women are now making, including in the field of finance. So we must acknowledge and appreciate their efforts. Our government's efforts also must be appreciated towards supporting women entrepreneurs and the financial inclusion of women. Our government's commitment is to having a rights-based social welfare system, and the flagship program is the SAS program, and this is impacting women positively in various fields of life, especially the marginalized members of our society, especially women and transgenders. And because SAS is focusing on them, and because our other flagship program, which is the health card, is going to be focusing on women and transgenders, I think this clearly denotes and reflects the priorities of this government towards mainstreaming and empowering these the women and transgenders so that they can play their role in the development of society and of the state. Also, of course, I think meetings such as these will encourage women to come into fields that they may not have thought of. For example, the global accountancy profession. I think we would do well to have more women in the profession than we have at the moment, especially in the top tier of global accountancy, the global accountancy profession. So I'm hoping that these webinars and these meetings will encourage women to think of bigger options than they may have thought of, to move outside of the traditional field that women think will be open to them in terms of job opportunities. And therefore, I just want to say once again that wishing you all the best, and wishing all the women who are leaders in their own rights, who are participating well, not only in their paths to success, but also for pioneering and making it easier for women to follow in their footsteps in this very important profession, which is accountancy, and overall in the finance sector. Thank you very much for inviting me, and wishing you all the best for your event.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shiri Mazzari, for joining us and saying all these beautiful words. I'm sure you're a great motivation for a lot of females out there. We have Ayla with us now, and we would like to call you again, Ayla, for telling us those prestigious words that we were not able to hear earlier. I'm not really sure, but there's something wrong with the internet connection, Ayla. So until Ayla reconnects, I would again want to welcome you all for all the attendees who have just joined in. A very, very happy International Women's Day. This is an event which is for the celebration of all the trailblazing women in finance, and it's all about inclusion in action today. So I would want you all to celebrate this movement, especially all the ACCA members and all the women in finance, because you're doing great out there. And it's not just the day that we are talking about, it should be a celebration that should be celebrated every single day in our lives, because we are making difference in our society. So Fiza, if you can join, and we have Fiza Imran with us as well. She is a chair Women in Finance Subcommittee, ACC MNP, and she is looking after all the females. I'll say she's representing all the females who are ACC members right now. So Fiza, if you would want to take over and say a few words for them.
Ji sure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of. Am I audible? Okay. I welcome you all on behalf of ACCA MNP committee, being a vice chair as well for MNP committee. Along with that, I am also basically chairing ACCA Women in Finance committee as well, representing all the females that are a part of ACCA, whether they are students, affiliates, or members. I am currently, a brief introduction about myself. I am currently working as general manager at Security Organization Systems. It's a security company. We provide different security services to different industrial categories. Along with that, I am also visiting faculty member at PAC group of colleges. I wish you all the guests, all the attendees, all the females everywhere out there in the world, I wish you a very happy International Women's Day on behalf of our chair, Mr. Umar Zahir Mir, on behalf of all the Women in Finance Society and ACCA overall globally. Talking about International Women's Day, it is celebrated, now it's being celebrated for over a century. Every year, on 8 March every year. It is a symbol of, basically it's a symbol of historic journey that women have traveled around the world to better their lives, to earn a better lifestyle. And it also comes to us as a reminder that though we have accomplished a lot, but yet we still have a long way to go. This event, Women's Day, was first organized in 1908 when 15,000 women marched across the New York City to demand their right for equal pay and equal voting rights. Uh, Later on, it became a symbol of celebration for women. And now, coming to ACCA, talking about ACCA and ACCA's participation for inclusion and diversity, ACCA is the pioneer accountancy body which had its first ACCA member in 1909. Her name was Ethel I. Purdy. Secondly, the ACCA's first ever president was also a female. So this is what shows that how ACCA is focused towards inclusivity, diversity, and this inclusion of women and women empowerment. Women empowerment is basically women in finance is an agenda, international agenda on which ACCA focuses. Its priority is to include as many females as possible, to encourage more and more females, to give more and more females the opportunity to participate towards the economic growth and profession. At the moment also, if we talk about the statistics, overall, worldwide, our member base consists of 52% females and 48%. 52% females are the members. From among all the members, we have 52% constituting females, and our overall employee, talking about employed ACCA members, 48% of the members are females. Along with that, our ACCA council representative is also female. The lady who's representing Pakistan on the council is a female, Miss Ayla Majid. Unfortunately, she had some internet connection errors, so she could not give her speech. I hope she will be able to deliver her remarkable words in the end. And along with that, I would the thing is that I myself, and it's an experience that now the females have excelled in all the fields and professions. And it really pleases me to see females excelling in all the professions of life, and they are not just confined to the boundaries of home or the four walls, raising kids and all. It's really eye-pleasing. It's to see them accomplishing so much in all fields of life, whether it is any profession, finance. Though finance is still considered as a male-oriented profession, but day by day the participation of women is increasing, and especially ACCA is encouraging those female inclusion. So I hope that we have a lot of females on board. We have got some very nice females at key positions as well. ACCA is really, in my organization, I see many ACCA females. We have females at very key roles. Talking about myself, I am a general manager of a security company, and I am the only female general manager in the entire organization. We have the female as head of the audit department. We have our CFO is also female. We have female in HR as well. So even the organization which I am representing as well, apart from ACCA, they are also really focused on female encouragement, inclusivity, and diversity is one of their agendas. This is the first time in the ACCA as well that MNP constituted of the only female in the last session, and with me and Mr. Umar Sangeet Mir, we decided to have this Women in Finance Society in accordance with ACCA's global agenda, and we are working towards encouraging more females to come into the profession. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fiza. These were the great words, and I'm really thankful to you to tell everyone what ACCA has been doing and is doing for all the women in finance. Let's move ahead with our panel discussion today. And as we are celebrating diversity and inclusion today, we have a very esteemed panelists and all the ACCA members who are doing all the great work in the industry today. I will like to invite Madiha Ahmed. She is an FCCA. She is Manager Consulting Services EY Fort Roads. We have Mavish Iqbal, who is an FCCA. She is Finance Business Partner, High Value Interventions, Unilever Pakistan. Then we have Zahida Rafiq. She is also an FCCA. She is an Additional Director, Chief Compliance Officer, Head of Internal Audit and Compliance Department, Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. Fiza and Ayla are joining us as well in this panel discussion. I am really thankful to all of you for joining us and for kind of motivating all those people who would want to join the finance profession or any profession to make a difference in this world. Starting from you, Mariha, if you can just briefly give an introduction to inspire all those females out there listening to you today.
Thank you, Sidra. This is Matiha. I am, first of all, a very happy Women's Day to all you beautiful ladies and everybody in the broadcast. I'm a chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan and an FCCA from ACCA. Currently, I'm working at Ernst & Young as Manager Consulting Services. Previously, I was working with A.F. Ferguson & Co. I completed my articles from there. And since the last 8 to 9 years,
Madiha, I think the internet is not doing well with us today. So moving on, Mavish, if you can tell about yourself to all the attendees out there so they can know about you.
Hi, thank you very much, Sidra. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, perfectly audible.
Okay, perfect. So, as you're aware, I'm an FCCA. I also have done my MBA from the Institute of Business Management, and I also hold the Certified Internal Auditor qualification. I have been working with the FMCG Unilever for the past 10.5 years. I've done various roles in finance over this long period that I've been associated with Unilever. So I have done roles from management accountancy, in head of internal audit, worked also in specialized functions like tax and treasury. And now I'm partnering some key interventions that Unilever is leading in the industry. So I'm kind of the finance business lead for those.
Thank you so much, Mavish, for joining us. Madiha, can you please continue now?
I don't know if I'm audible or not. Please confirm.
Yes, you are.
There's
So
some
we are
internet
hearing
issue at
about
my
your
end.
journey from PwC.
Yes. I'm a chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan and an FCSA member. I completed my articles from Ferguson. And since the last 8 to 9 years, I'm working with EY as Manager Consulting Services. And thank you for having me on board on this prestigious panel. And a lovely Women's Day to all of you.
Thank you so much, Madiha, for joining us. Zahida, if you can tell everyone about yourself as well.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and happy International Women's Day. I'm Zahida, and as you're aware, I'm FCCA. I have professional experience of more than 2 decades. I have worked with United Nations, and since 2002, I've been working with ACCP. In its various departments, I worked with Specialized Companies Division, in the Inspections Wing, in the Investigation Wing, and Regulatory Wing. Since year 2011, I've been working with Internal Audit Department, and at present, I'm the Chief Compliance Officer and Head of Internal Audit Department here, and giving my services. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Sadia.
Thank you so much, Parvish. Thank you, Ayla and Fiza. These are, I think, these are close to our heart because they are both. And one of them is our global council member, another one is our chairperson for the women's committee. Starting off with you, Zahida, if you can tell us, based on your experience, if I would like to know about, what do you think diverse teams? Do you think they perform better, or they're likely to champion more in innovation or not?
Thank you, Sadia. Sadia, as per my experience, team members with diverse backgrounds, they bring diverse solutions to the table, and they are more creativity and innovation because they bring diverse talent pool. And I feel like that bringing in people who had diverse backgrounds, it's just like you are having a melting pot of fresh ideas, which ultimately boost up the innovative and creative capacity of the whole team. Being a team leader, I had worked with many teams and departments, and I must say that whenever there were team from diverse backgrounds, I always made more informed decisions and brought better results on the table. But for this, I must say that it's a big responsibility of the team lead and the departmental head that he or she must ensure inclusive work culture in its department or in its team, where every member feel valued, respected, empowered, and feel comfortable enough to share his or her innovative idea. Otherwise, achieving this target would not be possible.
Thank you so much, Zahida. Coming towards you, Mevish, what do you believe into the same question? If I ask you on the same page, that what do you think diverse teams? What do you feel better about them? Do you think they are better at work? They are better at championing the innovative style of the working or not?
Absolutely. So, Sidra, I would echo what Zahida has already pointed out to. Just building on the innovation bit, I think, look, in gender inclusivity or diversity is no longer a matter of ethics or doing the right thing. It makes commercial and business sense for the organizations as well to include women in their workforce. I think one of the keynote speakers pointed out that 50% of our population is also consists of females. Yeah, when you have a consumer base of 50%, and you don't have the right representation within your organization or businesses to cater to the needs and requirements of that particular consumer group, then I think any organization, any business cannot imagine success or imagine achieving its full potential. So absolutely, diverse teams bring a lot of different thought process to the table. Having women representation in your business is not just the right thing to do; it's commercially the right thing to do as well. And I think when we talk about inclusion and diversity, we are still quite siloed in terms of limiting it to gender diversity or gender inclusivity. I think there is a lot more to it than just having gender, diversity. I think we're taking baby steps. We're gonna get there eventually. But yes, it's a step in the right direction.
Very well said. We are getting a lot of comments as well who are wishing us International Women's Day as well, and kind of commending all the females out there. Thank you very much for your support. Madiha, a kind of a serious question from you now about accounting firm, because you are from EY. So particularly about accounting firms that we talk about, that how diversity and inclusion can be adapted in organization without alienating existing employees, especially the older partners, because they are, I guess, less unfamiliar with the diverse working environments. So, what steps do you think a firm or any organization can take into this space?
Thank you, Sidra, so much. As you just mentioned, that accounting firms in Pakistan generally have the top management as male partners, right? So for them, it's certainly unusual to have female in decision-making role, but this is not something non-existent, and there is a ray of hope. So things are improving, but definitely very gradually. Accounting firms globally have very successfully invested in D&I programs, and I believe that firms in Pakistan need to learn and tailor those results based on the way things function in Pakistan. Definitely, we operate in very different dynamics as compared to firms globally. Secondly, the top management also needs to consider that the new workforce are the millennials. Okay, so they are a totally different generation. You can't just ask them to do something, right? You need to counsel them, you need to mentor them and guide them step by step. Similarly, the top tier also needs to be counseled about this new workforce, so in order to smoothen out this what you can call this a communication gap. And I think this can be done more by an informal catch up between the top management and the new entrants, by team building events and dinners and lunches. And globally, this I would just want to add this one last point here, that globally there is a trend towards employing people from the third gender, so they sustain themselves financially in a much more respectful way. I know this is a long shot for Pakistan and the conditions we operate in, but I think going forward, this should be in the commitment. This should be commitment from the top leaders that we do include people from the third gender in the workforce who come up obviously to the merit, and we can help them in earning a respectful living. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madiha. We have with us now Shandana Guzar Khan. She is the chairperson of the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians Network and a member of National Assembly of Pakistan, a legal professional with extensive knowledge and experience in international trade, economic law, and policy. She has written on Pakistan's first IP framework, e-commerce policy, and GI law. Besides having served as Parliamentary Secretary for Commerce and Industry, she chairs the subcommittee on agriculture products, focusing especially on women farmers, and she's also serving in committees on industry and production, privatization, and planning and development. Thank you so much, Anana, for coming here to inspire a lot of young females who are looking at you right now. And we would love to hear from you anything that you want to say about this International Women's Day celebration and any key messages that you want to give to all those young females out there.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for. I had committed to 2 others. I'm very grateful for organizers. In addition, I see a very good friend and my sister, Aila Majid Sahiba. Honored to be sharing a platform with her today. I have a couple of messages today. I haven't heard what the other participants said, but I have a couple of messages. First of all, since our discussion today is on International Women's Day, and I guess it begs the question, why do we need a special day for reminding us of women's rights? Why can't every day be Women's Day? Second is the challenge in and of itself. Choose to challenge is the theme for today. What are my challenges and what are my choices? My choices and my challenges are that I choose to stand up. I choose to stand up to oppose a system which will not allow equality. I'm a chair of Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians, and our biggest goal is to ensure that we have a world that we leave to our daughters, to our sisters, and it's an equal world. And what I mean by equal world: equal pay, equal access to education, equal opportunity for a decent and safe livelihood, equal opportunity to health, to public office. If those things happen, we don't need to fight any other war. That is the war that is raging within the world. This division. I'm going to be requesting to be allowed to say something political as well. When PTI government came in and my prime minister, there's plenty of things that the public would not be happy with, plenty of things I wouldn't be happy. The one thing, which is our slogan, we continue to pursue that, and that is one Pakistan, not an elitist Pakistan and not a poor Pakistan. A Pakistan in which everyone feels equal. Since we're talking about diversity and inclusion, one thing I don't see happening for Pakistan, but we're going to change that unless formal financial inclusivity is something that is on the cards for all policymakers, including my own party, we will not go very far in the struggle we have. By way of example, Pakistan is one of the few countries in the world that does not have a gender-sensitive budgeting system. We do not have a gender-sensitive FTAs and PTAs, which are preferential and free trade agreements. Meaning what? Meaning that until unless each financial decision taken in this country actually weighs and calculates the impact on the women of this country, we could have a dozen policies and nothing would work. So, for inclusivity and diversity, it is essential that we look at what is happening all around us. The provinces that are responsible for the implementation of women's development post 18th Amendment, I think the responsibility is the highest on them. But in addition, I'd like to announce very proudly that we're working with the Ministry of Interprovincial Coordination, where the Minister, Dr. Fahmida Mirza, we have requested the Prime Minister to ensure that women's development is a small coordinating unit in her ministry. As when I talk to the provinces head of SDG 5, I find it very difficult on a Pakistan level to ensure that I'm able to get coherent policy making for women. I still don't know what is the methodology to ask a province as to how much money they spent on BHUs and what portion of that money went to looking after women in labor, because it doesn't exist, that mechanism. I still don't know how to talk to government schools in the provinces and ask them that when they make their budgets, when they make their curriculum, when they make their school year, how do they factor the impact on the girl child? Globally, at the CWP, we've got a very interesting agenda for the next 3 years. We are partnering with... Hello, I don't know if you can hear me. At the CWP level, we're trying to ensure that we're getting
Shandana, we cannot hear you right now. We were able to hear you before you asked us. Still not audible. Okay, and two, we have her back because she was telling us a lot of things, and I totally agree with her. And as I said earlier as well, it's not just a day that we should be celebrating for all the women out there. It's about the time that everyone and the efforts they are putting in their own pace in their careers or at home. Every single woman out there is making a great change in the society. I think we have you back now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Great, great. So I don't know where you were not able to hear me, so I can start from that point.
It's just last 1 minute that we lost you. We were
All right.
able
So
to hear you
essentially,
perfectly fine.
I was talking about financial inclusivity, and I also mentioned the SRS program. The SRS program post COVID-19, it shouldn't have happened.
I think we lost the connection again because we're not able to hear you fine.
No, I'm here. I'm here, but I just stopped talking. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it is better now. So you were telling us about the coordination committee under MNA Mirza.
Doctor, no, oh, that was pretty far away. No, Dr. Fahmida Mirza is a minister. We're trying to open up a women's development cell in her ministry to coordinate with the provinces. And with Dr. Sania Nishtar, we're trying to ensure that we get a policy on board which will allow all provinces and all federations to make sure that any policy, any law that is promulgated, for example, every law in Pakistan now looks at differently abled people and it has a quota within the law. We want to have similar quotas, similar mechanisms for ensuring that women have some sort of consideration in each law, each financial decision that is made. I don't know if recently. So who receive questions and answers. I don't know if you
I think internet is not going well for us today. We have lost the connection again. Yes, we have you back now.
I'm here, and as I said, I'm done for the talking bit. I'm happy to respond to questions and answers.
That was a great point, and I think even our panelists were commenting that the things that you're telling are all new things, and I think these are the things that were kind of not very known to the girls out there. That all the work that government is doing right now for them. Yes, if any of the panelists want to go ahead with the questions, because I think they are really interested in these initiatives as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Shadana. And I'm really not sure if internet was not doing good with us because we had a lot of questions from you, especially around gender responsive budgeting. Mavish, if you can take, because I heard you commenting about what Chandana said, any key points that you were really interested into from her conversation specifically?
I think I was very interested to find out that, we do put in that lens, or at least we're trying at a government level to put in that lens of evaluating budgets from the perspective of how it will impact women, or how do you ascertain, how do you put aside specific budgets across the province for women. I was very intrigued. If Shandana, if your connection permits, can you just help us understand, because you mentioned that there were a lot of initiatives that were globally being taken under the Commonwealth platform for women. And I really wanted you to cover those, and if you could just share a couple of those with us, because we lost you there during the conversation. Uh, Unfortunately, I think the connection is still quite bad. Would it be possible? I think we've lost Shandana again. I think two
Yes.
important points that I noticed today was, one, when Dr. Shiri Mazzari mentioned the health card being made available for women as well as transgenders, and then the fact that the initiative they're taking in terms of finding. Okay, Shandana is back. So if you can hear us, and if you can please just
We don't
elaborate
want to
a
miss
bit
it.
more.
That's the issue. That's why we're calling you back
Yeah.
again and again.
That's very sweet. I'm incredibly, as I said, I feel my Wi-Fi box is definitely not a woman. The box doesn't want me to speak. But anyways, patriarchal box. We'll see what we can do. Couple of things. At the Commonwealth, we have it's interesting in the decisions taken by Parliament. It has to be, of course, an honest exercise. The second thing, we have launched an anti-harassment policy for women at the workplace, specifically staff of parliaments. I don't know if you've heard, there's a problem happening now with the governor of New York and the kind of women that are doing Me Too allegations and harassment against him. So we've already brought the policy at the Commonwealth level. That has been sent to 180 parliaments. It is the same policy that the against harassers, whether the harasser is a parliamentarian, non-parliamentarian, whether the victim is a man or a woman. But there must be, mostly the targets are women. The third thing we've done is we've started working on the same financial inclusivity policy for both parliamentarians, because our job is to train parliamentarians who will then work for their constituents. The fourth thing we're doing is that we've started a program with the UN Women. It is called Men for Women at He for She, Male Champions of Gender Equality, because we realized we were facing a lot of resistance from male parliamentarians who feel come out with an opposite of the patriarchy. We don't want toxic femininity through parliaments either. What we want is parliamentarians. The fifth thing that we're doing for women, the parliamentarians in particular, is to train them to build their capacity to ensure that the focus group that we have, whether on health, whether on education, we're able to band together as a global unit, because the UN, ladies and gender how we choose to learn from ACCA. Policy action. All your guests present here today can join me in the National Assembly starting next week, inshallah.
Thank you so much for your time and the bits we were able to hear. Especially, I think the thing you mentioned about men for women, that's a great initiative. And then I think that should be adopted at every organization level because it's a big support that we're looking forward for the inclusive and the diversity that we are talking about today. Thank you so much for your time and your prestigious first, Shanna.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So moving ahead, back to the questions because I'm not leaving you all here with it without asking you a lot of things that are in my mind. Zaida, coming back to you specifically as a regulator because you're working in a regulator environment, a regulator boards. Gender diversity on boards, when we talk about corporate governance, we don't see that much happening out there in organizations. So what role should be a regulator adapting for this? And has SCCP being a regulator adapted something around it?
Yeah. Thank you, Sadi. Yes, Sadi, you're right. The gender diversity on the boards, it has been a global issue and it has attracted a lot of attention over the past few years. Just as Shantana said that few legislation is being made by the government. Similarly, I would like to mention few steps that has been taken by SCCP as a regulator. In year 2017, a provision has been added in Section 154 of the Companies Act 2017, whereby all public listed companies, they are required to have female representation on their boards. Thereafter, this was implemented through Listed Companies Code of Corporate Governance Regulations 2017, Regulation 7 of which requires that all listed companies at least have one female director on their board, and non-compliance of this attracts serious penal provisions. Very recently, last year in November 2020, a team of ACCP officials and PS6, they had carried out a study in order to assess the impact of the regulations made by ACCP 2 years back. And they had compiled a report, Women on Board. It's placed on ACCP official website, and anyone who can want to see the facts and the stats mentioned in the report can download it and read it. But one of the very important findings of the report, which I would like to share here, is there appears a strong correlation between female presence on the boards and the better financial performance of the companies in terms of higher average return on their assets and return on their equities. Among various sectors, textile sectors, financial sector, engineering and automobile sector, they had shown the highest increase of female directors on their boards. And when their performance were gauged, there was a significant good indicators of their financial performance from year 2017 to 2019. But here I would like to say, Sadia, that gender diversity, as mentioned earlier by other panelists, that it's not only a number game or just meeting the mandatory quota, but rather meaningful presence of women in decision-making processes at board levels and at senior management levels is highly encouraged. though it's a first step that we are just making this quota and making it mandatory and penalizing those who are not abiding with these regulations, but actually not only the law, only the letter of the law be obeyed, rather the spirit of the law should be understood by the organizational heads. And I think that the organizations have to provide inclusionary climate if they really wish to prosper in the long run.
Thank you so much, Aida. Just moving ahead with you, maybe just a quick question. Work from home, it's a new culture, new norm that has been evolved in past 1 year. Maybe it was the time that required it, but it has changed and evolved the accountancy profession as well. So what do you think, work from home culture specifically for accountants? How do you see it? How do you perceive it?
I think work from home culture, it has established one thing. I think it has worked for the benefit of our gender, at least. And it has established one thing, that, good work or good performance is not bound by the four walls of an organization or a company. Yeah. Which means that you don't have to be physically, present in the office to perform or to do your tasks or to contribute to the growth of the organization. And honestly, I think, willingly or unwillingly, I think it has really pushed organizations to take that leap, and to really include digital communication and really amp up their entire digital footprint within the organization as well, to operate more effectively. So I think it has been a blessing in disguise. It has really compelled organizations to embrace the change, and become a bit more inclusive, a bit more agile in their approach towards work.
Thank you. Vizit, just quickly coming to you, if you can share a message for all the young girls who are about to join this profession.
Yes, I would definitely love to convey a message to them. The first thing is that when you will be, whatever profession, you are really encouraged to join the finance profession, but whatever profession you choose, it should be by your own will and you should really be passionate about it. Don't choose any profession just because of the family pressure, or my elder brother was doing that, or my parents said that, or out of being forced. Don't do it like that. Choose the profession that you're passionate about, because when you are passionate about something, you put your heart and soul into achieving it. Secondly, whenever you will be typically talking about finance profession, this is what I faced myself as well. So I would definitely, when you are choosing this profession, finance profession, talking about the finance profession, be it chartered accountancy, ICAP by ICAP or ACCA or ICAW, whatever the body you choose to join, you will certainly face a lot of hurdles. I faced many hurdles. It was told that this profession is not suitable for females. You will have to go to audit. You will have to go for auditing. It would be field work. So it's not appropriate for females to be joining this profession. But I was adamant that no, I am going to choose this profession, or I won't study it at all. So somehow I was supported by my father. So I will say there will be a lot of negativity. There will be a lot of, yes, there will be encouragement too, but compared to encouragement, there will be a lot of discouragement. There will be a lot of people who will try to pull you back, pulling your leg, holding you back. Don't let that negativity affect your spirit. Don't get dispirited, don't get demotivated. And once you have decided, then there should not, don't let the hurdles stop you from achieving your aim. Put all your heart and soul, put all your might into achieving your target. Stay focused, don't listen to any negativity, don't bother about any negativity. And I hope you accomplish all your dreams. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Fiza. Quickly, Madiha, same thing that I asked Fiza. What about the underrepresented represented backgrounds, people who are coming towards work? What do you feel about this, especially the females? Just a quick comment on that. Madiha, can you hear us?
I think, Sidra, it's not about only females being underrepresented. I think, we've. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's perfect now. Please move
I
ahead.
think we all are having a bad internet day. Am I audible? Okay, Sidra, I'm saying that, it's not about only women being underrepresented. Yeah, I think it's not only about female being the underrepresented part of the society. I think there are a lot of barriers that we've created. I'll quickly sum it up. I know the time is running short. First, being nepotism. I think hiring is primarily it's majorly influenced by reference and contacts with the senior management. I think a transparent HR can help us cope up with this problem. The next barrier I feel is language communication and interpersonal skills. We have a general bias towards people who are well versed in English, even though they may not perform too well on field. So I think a lot of focus on other parameters, and later on, we've always introduced language communication and interpersonal programs. Third, I think racial discrimination. The discrimination that is based on color, caste, and creed that really needs to be overcome. And the application forms that we have, they have these major questions about ethnicity and your religious and questions focused on these areas. I think they should be omitted from the application form. And inclusivity-based trainings should be provided at all levels in the organization. Last but not the least, I think persons with disabilities. I really fail to understand how we consider them as inefficient, as the functional mind is always useful to the society. I think in order to support persons with disabilities, we need to have ramps, elevators, and policies in place that ensure equal opportunity employment, and we should include persons with disability in policy making, and we should value their opinion, as definitely they are part of the society and we need to welcome them. Thank you,
Thank
Sidra.
you so much to all these beautiful members out there who have tried to inspire all of the young females who are aspiring to join any career, especially in finance. Ayla, we have her on call right now because internet is not working really well for all of us, as Madiha mentioned. So, Ayla, if you can say those beautiful words that we were unable to hear earlier.
Thank you, Sidra. It should is it now, this phone connection?
I hope everyone can hear her now.
All right, okay, great. All right, so very good discussion, very interesting discussion, despite the challenges of the technology not working superbly. But hopefully we will get there one day where all of these things are very, very seamless. I would just like to sort of reiterate on some of the thoughts that some other emerging speakers mentioned. First of all, congratulations to all involved in today's discussion, all the ACCA members, remarkable women, Shandana, Dr. Shiri, Mazzari, everyone else. We have no dearth of role models. There are a lot of role models, and we need to sort of hear more from them, have more of these discussions to inspire others. However, there are some very key points. I'll briefly touch upon diversity. Diversity is not only about gender diversity, it is about having a diverse thought process, diverse perspective, which comes from coming from different backgrounds, different professional experience, different geographies, different ethnicities, and obviously different genders as well. Which is extremely important to bring diversity and inclusivity, inclusive spirit in our lives, in organizations. Countries cannot thrive without that, and so cannot organizations. Moving on, I would also like to stress on one of the key points that Shandana mentioned about not having gender-related data available. So there is a lot of disaggregated data. And once we have that, once we consciously work on that, of course, it's part of SDG 5 as well. Extremely important for taking whatever decision-making spaces we are in. Some of the data that is available, and I would like to share that for Pakistan. So when we look at Pakistan's formal financial inclusion, total bank population, it is still under 25%. And only 17% females are formally financially included. When we look at that disparity with the 50% number that is mentioned, so the gap is absolutely huge. When we look at female financial literacy, the documented number is only 46%. When we look at women in agriculture, it is 62%. Women with unpaid jobs, over 20%. So this data is not presenting a very good picture, which shows and which stresses the point that women need to be brought in roles where they can contribute. And in fact, there is no field where women cannot contribute. We are talking about basic women in finance, but whether it is innovation, whether it is science and technology, from space to healthcare to politics, women can work anywhere and women can be great and women are great contributors. Whereas the government is making great contributions with regards to enabling a quality ecosystem. One thing that organizations are doing, but there is still a huge gap, is to make inclusive workspaces and inclusive work policies as well. Whether it is now, of course, because of the pandemic, there is now greater comfort working from home. But working remotely before this was not a preferred sort of mode. So that has sort of hit. Now, in terms of providing support, in terms of basic ecosystem or basic enabling infrastructure, including the transport, decent and respectable transport for women to get to work, I think that still needs a lot of improvement. Then acceptability of women, say in a number of other areas, we need to make this very, very normal. And with that, of course, having these conversations is very important. But to bring along bring along men as well and get them to champion the cause as well. I think that is very important. And I'll just say that women are doing remarkably well wherever they are. We need to increase that number. We need to make the workspace, the world more inclusive, more diverse. And why should we do that? Because we should do that for prosperity, for peace, for the well-being of the human capital. So I'll just stop here, and congratulations everyone, and a very happy Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayla, for your closing remarks. I would like to thank all the panelists and everyone who has joined in on the social media channels. A very happy Women's Day, everyone. It's me, Sidra Haq, signing off from ACCA's platform right now. So keep making the change, and all the very best. Allah Hafiz.